Hello, welcome back to the Grey Script and Everything in Between podcast. Today's episode is a big one. I seem to say that a lot. Not rushed, not surface level. This one is about where everything truly begins, your mind. So before the habits, before the relationships, before the anxiety, the self-doubt, the strength and the survival, this episode is about understanding how your mind was shaped long before you ever had a say in it. And I want to say this clearly before we begin. Nothing in this episode is about blame. It's about awareness. Because awareness gives you choice and choice gives you freedom. So your mind at birth to around 5 years. When you are born, your mind is not logical. It's not rational, it doesn't analyse, it absorbs. From birth to around 5, a child operates primarily in the subconscious mind, but this is where the beliefs are formed, not through words but through experience. At this stage, you don't question, you don't filter, you don't reason, you record. Tone of voice, facial expressions, safety, fear, love, chaos, consistency. A child doesn't learn who they are by being told, they learn by watching. If love felt conditional, the mind records, I must earn love. If emotions weren't safe, the mind records, I must stay silent, quiet. If chaos was normal, the mind records, this is what life feels like. This is why early childhood is so powerful. Not because children understand, but because they don't. Ages 5 to 11, the foundation years. So between the ages of 5 and 11, something shifts. The child starts interacting with the world beyond home, with school, teachers, friends, authority and comparison. This is where identity begins forming externally. A child learns, am I clever? Am I good enough? Am I safe being myself? Do I belong? And this is why. Encouraging reading matters. Play matters. Creativity matters. And conversations matter. When we ask children, what do you enjoy? What are you curious about? What excites you? We are helping them connect with themselves. But when children experience abuse, neglect, emotional invalidation or fear during this stage, the mind adapts. And the mind always adapts to survive. A child may learn hypervigilance, people-pleasing, withdrawal, anger as protection and silence as safety. Not because they are broken, but because their mind is brilliant at keeping them safe. Ages 11 to 18 are more identity and influence. We're entering adolescence. This stage is powerful and fragile. The child is no longer just learning the world, they are asking, who am I in it? Peers become louder than parents, approval becomes currency, belonging feels like survival. This is where bullying cuts deep, comparison becomes internalized, passions can be abandoned, confidence can disappear. A child who loved art at 7 may stop creating. A child who dreamed freely may shrink. Why? Because the mind learns to be accepted, I must adapt. Add trauma here, bullying, rejection, abuse, chronic stress, and the nervous system stays switched on. And the body learns, be alert, stay guarded, don't relax. And this doesn't end at 18. Ages 18 to 25, the developing brain. This is the critical part. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision making, emotional regulation, impulse control, long-term thinking, does not fully develop until around the age of 25. This means before 25, if you have trauma, it shapes your belief systems deeply. It impacts emotional safety. It affects self-trust, alters stress responses, and this is why experiences in this window can feel life-defying. A traumatized young adult may believe, I'm unsafe, I'm behind, I can't trust myself, I always get it wrong. Not because it's true, but because the mind hasn't finished building its filters yet. So, trauma versus trauma-free development. Let's gently compare. A child or young adult raised in emotional safety often develops secure attachment, emotional regulation, trust in themselves and others. A child raised in unpredictability may develop anxiety, hyper-independence, control issues, emotional shutdown, people-pleasing. Neither is a moral failure. They are adaptations. So adulthood, when it finally surfaces, here's the part that confuses many people. Why does it hit us later? Why anxiety in your 30s and 40s? Why depression? Why identity loss? Because survival mode works until it doesn't. When life slows down, when the distractions fade, when safety increases, the body finally says it's time to feel. And this is when anxiety will appear, depression will surface, addictions creep in, numbing becomes tempting, and people feel lost. Not because you're weak, but because your nervous system finally feels safe enough to process. So, that is a lot to take in right now, but it's food for thought. Now, this is going to build the basis that I want to continue through this year. I want to take you on a journey from you yourself understanding why you are feeling the way you are feeling, without blaming anyone in your past or yourself. I want you to just to kind of, this is the sort of thing that would be going through if you were having therapy. They would want to kind of get a background. This is where you are your own therapist. You can make yourself better. So, if any of this resonated, I want you to hear this. Nothing is wrong with you. Your mind did exactly what it needed to do. So in the next episode, we will explore how to begin rewiring these patterns, how awareness becomes power, and how healing doesn't mean reliving, it means relearning. And this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of understanding it. So until next time, please follow, share, feel free to comment. If you're watching this via the YouTube channel, please feel free to just share it amongst your socials. If you're watching this via the Facebook group, please let me know how you're getting on, how you're finding these, what's helping, what you would like help knowing a little bit more about, because I'd like to help more in the group with some worksheets if anyone wants them. So that's it. Very quick, very short, very powerful. Let's change your life this year. Until next week, take care of yourself.